Good morning and welcome to the show that keeps you abreast of the latest happenings across the African continent and beyond, which plays every weekday morning. In today's broadcast, South Africa sends 100 students to China to address skills shortage, and this is according to a minister. WTO Chief Okonjo-Iweala seeks a second term to complete unfinished business. And finally, U.S. military strategy in Africa remains partnership-centric. You can follow all our programs on our website, which is called oneup2.com, or on DSTV 285 or GoTV 25, and that is NTV in Namibia. Later on in the show, we have Master Mike Sichula, who's going to bring you the top stories coming through from Zambia. My name is Aina Koya, and I will be right back after the break.
Entries are now open for the second round of Republicane's Bridal Couple of the Year competition. Couples married between 1 June and 31 August have until 30 September of this year to enter the second round of the competition. Another one of the top 10 couples will be chosen from this pool to participate in the final, taking place in May 2025. To better your chance of reaching the final, enter now. To enter, simply WhatsApp #Bridal2025 to 085 785 6231 and follow the on-screen instructions or scan this QR code.
In our top stories this morning, South Africa to send 100 students to China to address skill shortage, and this is according to the minister. The Minister of Higher Education and Training, Dr. Nobule Nkaba, they announced that South Africa will send over 100 students to China next year to study scarce and critical skills for the future to address the country's current skills match. Kabane was providing feedback on the ministerial stakeholder program, which was held on the 12th of September and ended on Sunday. She was part of the President Cyril Ramaphosa's recent delegation to the Forum of China-Africa Cooperation. What we would understand is that we have a long-standing cooperation with the People's Republic of China in various areas of higher education and training, which continues to grow and support South Africa's knowledge and skills development, she said. The minister said the National Students Financial Aid Scheme is ready to kickstart the 2025 online application process effective of Friday. Kabane also revealed plans to introduce and appoint new NASFAF board members following the dissolution of the previous board by former Minister Blade Zimande. She said an amended gazette was issued in August to put this in action. According to Nkabane, a call for nomination was made. NASFAF Administrator Sitembiso Nomvalo assured that the system is designed to handle the influx of applications. However, he noted that dependencies on the system such as Home Affairs and SASSAs may impact the process. Now we move over to our next story. WTO Chief Okonjo-Iweala seeks a second term to complete unfinished business. Now the WTO Director General Ngozo Okonjo-Iweala will seek another 4-year term as head of the World Trade Organization following a board Africa-led push to start the process early, aiming to complete unfinished business from her first mandate. Okonjo-Iweala, who is 70, a former Nigerian minister, of Finance made history by becoming the first female and African chief of the 30-year-old trade body in 2021. I'd like to be part of this chapter of the WTO story, and I stand ready to compete for the position, Okonjo-Iweala told Reuters on Monday in comments later confirmed by a WTO statement. For my second term, I intend to focus on delivering, she added, saying among the priorities was addressing unfinished business. These include a deal on ending fisheries subsidies and reaching a breakthrough in global agriculture negotiations, as well as reforming the WTO's hobbled dispute system and decarbonizing trade. And in our next story, U.S. military strategy in Africa remains partnership-centric, African General Langley says. The head of the U.S. Africa Command, a unit of the U.S. military responsible for operations on the continent, said the U.S. strategy on the continent will remain partnership-centric and led by Africans themselves, whether they are dealing with violent extremism or transitional crimes. U.S. Marine Corps General Michael Langley, on a visit to Northern East Africa, said his government's approach at a time of growing interest from other world powers will include confronting the challenges of the climate crisis, as well as some of the drivers of instabilities that bring conflict and population displacement. AFRICOM's Commander Langley was speaking during an online briefing where he also highlighted the objectives of an ongoing U.S.-led military exercise in Morocco involving 20 countries, which he said is intended to strengthen collaborative and interoperability type objectives. The general's trip took him to countries in the Maghreb, including Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya, where he spoke of the possibility of violent extremist organization starting up again. His mission, he said, was to learn and understand their approach for counter-terrorism. Moving over to our next story, Germany reintroduces border control to curb legal immigration. Germany has begun random checks at the border, with 5 Western European nations expanding a system of controls already in place at its 4 other borders. The police controls began at the border of Finland, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Denmark on Monday morning and are due to continue for 6 months. The coalition government is under increasing pressure over migration following the recent deadly knife attacks in which the suspect were asylum seekers. In August, the Islamic State group claimed responsibility for a knife attack in western city of Soligon, in which 3 people were killed. Germany also has seen a rise in support for the opposition, far-right and conservative, pushing immigration and security concerns higher on a political agenda. And in our next story, the World Health Organization license means pharma plant can make medicines for the world, and this is according to President Filipe Nyusi, who said on Monday that the country's pharmaceutical plant is ready to produce medicine for the world following the certification by the World Health Organization. We now have a worldwide certificate. The medicine that lives here goes everywhere. Here in the region, apart from the factories that have existed for a long time, there is no factory like ours, said Filipe Nyusi during a visit to Fábrica Nacional de Medicamentos in Maputo, a province south of Mozambique. The head of the state announced that the factory, which produces 83 different types of drugs, was recently certified by the WHO after several inspections by that organization to expand its production to the international market. The factory is already producing for us, but ready to produce for the rest of the world, declared Nyusi, noting the capacity for the growth and expansion into the vaccination line or injectables. Now, the president of Mozambique also highlighted the high standard and quality of the medicine produced at the unit, considering that the venture should also help to reduce illegal acquisition of drug through the standardization of tablets to counter fake drugs. Those who buy stolen medicine no longer have much space. In a short time, we will commercialize the pill in the sense that it can be bought very easily, Felipe Nyusi said. After the break, we return with stories from Zambia, courtesy of Master Mike Sichula. Stay around.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
Master Mike Sichula, we are crossing over to you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very great. And how are you doing? It has been long.
I am fantastic. Now, in your first story, a debate has emerged on whether the constitution is defective such that the country can go 8 to 9 years without holding general elections. Please walk us through this story. What is happening and whose idea was this?
Okay, so according to the Zambian constitution, after 5 years, the country has to go to the general elections. And the general elections are supposed to be held on the Thursday or the 12th of August, the second week of August, every after 5 years. So when President Hakainde Hichilema addressed Parliament on Friday last week, he did highlight that according to what he has read in the Constitution, the country can go between 8 to 9 years without holding general elections because of what he called their lacunas in the Constitution. So when you read the Zambian Constitution in line with Article 56, the Constitution demands cancellation of an election when a duly nominated candidate at wards, district, constitution, and presidential level resigns, dies, or is disqualified by the court. So this argument is what has brought a lot of condemnation, of course, from his political opponents, and one of them happens to be former President Edgar Lungu, who has said that there is nothing like that to warrant the country going through between 8 and 9 years without holding general elections. Then yesterday, there is a video where Information Minister Cornelius Mwetua held a media briefing and also highlighted that President Hakainde Hichilema did not in any way imply that he wants to be in office for as long as 8 to 9 years under a term because of the defectiveness of the Constitution. We can listen to the video that was shared yesterday.
All right, Master Sichula, we are going to play the video.
The President of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Hakainde Hichilema, did not mean any malice, did not intend any ill will, did not harbor any ulterior motive for his private and pecuniary political advantage. Zero. All what the President did as a good leader, one charged with the responsibility and mandate to manage the affairs of the nation, was to point out areas that are giving challenge to the smooth administration of the law and the government.
I love how he said 0. Master Sichula, in your next story, tell us about the man who was pretending to be a lawyer and now has gained himself some years in prison.
Wow, quite an interesting story. We've read and seen some of these stories happening in Kenya with the latest case. I think it was in Kenya. So now in Zambia, in the southern province of Zambia, Felix Majibelo, aged 37, was arrested on 21st August 2024 after he was asked by the court to provide his practicing certificate number, which he did not have. He later explained that he was practicing as a student and not being admitted to the bar on when he appeared before court. So Majibelo was actually in court, in a Monze subordinate court, representing two people who were facing one charge of cattle theft. He was when he failed to produce his practicing certificate, he was sentenced to 6 months imprisonment with hard labor for unlawful appearing in court as a lawyer representing two clients accused of stock theft. And the body that represents lawyers in Zambia, the Law Association of Zambia, has condemned the incident, saying it serves as a reminder of critical need for vigilance against individuals masquerading as advocates. So it is one case that a number of journalists here in Zambia and many other civil society organizations want to establish whether this was his first case or he had had numerous cases that he had appeared before court without him being tracked down by authorities.
It seems as though people are getting more creative by the day. Moving over to your next story on Chief Justice Mumba Malila, who is now back in the country from South Africa after undergoing specialized treatment following a road accident. Please tell us, and maybe you can give us an update on his healing journey.
So almost a month ago, he was involved in a road traffic accident. A vehicle that was being driven by a private citizen carelessly rammed into his official vehicle, such that he encountered some severe damages to his body. He was transferred to the Zambian's controlled military hospital, Mainasoko Hospital. But when he was there, medical doctors did recommend that he be evacuated to South Africa for specialized treatment. He has been in South Africa for almost 2 weeks, and the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has announced a day ago that he's back in the country because the treatment that he received in South Africa was successful, and his healing process is remarkable, such that he may return to work in the next few couple of weeks, because what the doctors recommended that he be taken to South Africa has been attended to by both Zambian and South African medical personnel. So he's back in the country, and the individual that carelessly rammed into his official vehicle was charged with careless driving, because you know these positions like Chief Justice, they are quite sensitive. So anything that happens to them, authorities need to really investigate whether it was intentional or it was not. It was unintentional. So that case has been investigated by police, and it was established that it was not an intentional accident, but something that was just because of due to careless driving by this private individual.
All right, Master Sichula, that is a good development to hear. Talk to us about the sports philosophy by the Zambian FA to give Zambians football and identity.
Wow, so this the background to this is that, for instance, Spain has got what they call tiki-taka football. Brazil has got samba football. And according to the Football Association of Zambia, the Chiporoporo, should also have its own playing style. So coaches, academicians, and football experts have gathered in Lusaka for a 3-day workshop with a view of developing Zambia's football philosophy. So according to FAS President Andrew Kamanga, who opened the workshop yesterday, he says this is being done to ensure that Zambian teams have a playing system which will be identified in the long run. Mr. Kamanga says the development of the system is being done with a backbone of experienced personnel who have worked and are serving in various capacities in Zambian football. So to just help our viewers, this was also this initiative was also done in 1996, but it did not yield desired results. So it is expected that maybe now, because of how people in football have evolved and how people are interested to establish their own philosophy, maybe it may work. As you can see there in the picture is Zambia Chipolopolo boys coach Avram Grant, and also former Chipolopolo boys coach Weston Nyirenda, who is also part of the experts that have gathered for a 3-day workshop here in the capital city, Lusaka.
All right, Master Sichula, I definitely agree with football identity. I think that every country should, adapt that philosophy. But thank you very much for bringing us the top stories in Zambia.
Thank you very much, Africa. Good morning to our dear viewers. And it was great seeing you today after a long time. Have a blessed week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A blessed day we will have indeed. And here are the weather predictions from Southern Africa. In economic news this morning, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger are set to introduce new biometric passports as part of their exit from the West African bloc, Reuters reported. The junta-led countries have formed a new Sahel alliance following military takeover in all three nations, Mali's leader announced on Sunday. In January, the three junta-led Sahel countries jointly declared their intention to withdraw from the 15-member economic community of West African states. And now let's have a look at our economic indicators. Thank you so much for joining us on Africa Good Morning. Until tomorrow is good morning.